This week on UND Insider Weekly, men's and women's basketball close out their regular season against Northern Colorado. Women's hockey meets Wisconsin in the WCHA Final Face-off. And men's hockey clinches their first piece of hardware from the NCHC in their weekend split against Miami. Men's hockey assistant Dane Jackson joins us in the coach's corner to break down the season. And the panel will preview the start of playoffs for both women's basketball and men's hockey. All this week on UND Insider Weekly. Welcome to UND Insider Weekly alongside Brad Schlossman and Tom Miller from the Grand Forks Herald and Paul Ralston from UND Athletics. I'm Tim Hennessy. The weekend that was, gentlemen, the weekend that was. We were at The Shining in Oxford, Ohio. Wow. That was a little different. Tom, you were at a high school tournament. Paul, you were with the basketball team. That season came to an end. Let's start with Oxford, Ohio, and a Penrose Championship, an NCHC Championship Penrose Cup clinching win on Friday night for the UND hockey team. What'd you think? They kind of did what they've done all year, but I detected a little void. How about you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was obvious that Mark McMillan wasn't in the lineup in several aspects, defensively, face-offs, and of course he's their leading goal scorer. His absence is almost more pronounced defensively in face-offs in the little areas of the game as it is in scoring goals, but you could definitely tell that he was missing. That being said, once again, the team just found a way to win a game, and Zane McIntyre was terrific in net for UND that night. The D-men did a pretty good job clearing out some pucks, too, of dangerous areas, and Connor Gorder scored a game-winning goal for the third game in a row. It seems like he comes up big at this time of year, and it's happening again for him. So
should have been an assist from Zane McIntyre, but you can't do it, I guess.
He has to control the puck. Yeah, the rebound, he kicked the rebound out to Austin Pagansky, and Pagansky made a great feed on the play, and that line continues to play really well. And I got a sense that Hackstall liked a lot of things on 3 of the 4 lines, but the one line they switched from night to night. We might be seeing something new again this weekend as Colorado College rolls into town.
And then Saturday night game, I think the energy was there, but there's just a little the little things that you have to be real focused in to get. They may not have been as focused as they've been.
Correct, and that game, it can be tough to get up for a game like that when there's really not a ton riding on it. They've already won the league championship. They know who they're going to play first round. They're going to be in the NCAA tournament. They're going to be a number 1 seed. They do want to get the number 1 overall seed, so that was on at stake. But like you said, the first period super intense. They came out with tons of energy, but they made a couple mistakes. And when you play a team like Miami, Austin Zarnik will make you pay for those mistakes, and he did on Saturday night.
They go into the playoffs opening round against Colorado College, a team that won a shootout with Nebraska Omaha, made the Mavericks score a couple in the third period on Saturday night just to get basically a split out of that one. Team playing a lot better. We saw that when they were there.
For sure. I mean, we saw them back in October, and they weren't very good. Yeah, that's the correct way of putting it. But they were much better this last time. 2 close games, and they seem to keep improving. Tyler Marble's been really good in goal for them. I think they found something there, and he'll have to be good again this weekend. I don't think anyone can get by with average goaltending at this time of year.
So who did they move into the lineup on Friday, and who did they move into the lineup on Saturday? Was it different for us this weekend?
They put Trevor Olson in on Friday on the wing, and then they moved Johnny Simonson into the middle on Saturday.
Yeah, moved Colton St. Clair back to wing because he struggled in the face-off circle. So I think we're still going to see some adjusting there. They had played with those same lines for so long that now they're trying new line combos, and it's going to take a bit.
Talk about the end of the men's basketball season. Came to an end in Greeley, Colorado, and in typical fashion, the way it's come for this basketball team this year, huh?
I feel if there was a game that could describe the season as a whole, basically, maybe it was that one.
It was a microcosm.
Yeah, I think that's the best word for it. Certainly, this men's basketball team has had its chances in a lot of these games, and once again, it came up a point or 2 short. And on Saturday night, North Dakota got down in the first half. Wasn't a real great first half of basketball, and you almost had to wonder, basically, with nothing really on the line for them, was it going to be kind of a blowout, and were they going to let it go? But they came out in the second half and they played just tremendously well, and really only went to about 5 or 6 players and said, okay guys, go at it, because they didn't have Carson Shanks. He was out due to illness. Jerron Nash was out due to illness, so they basically shortened everything up, and these are the guys that are playing halfway decent. Go get it. and they nearly did. And you saw the fight there. One thing to take away here at the end of the year, Quentin Hooker, who's only a sophomore, 5 straight 20-point-plus games to close the season. Some special performances by him, and if you're going to take one thing to build off of going into next season, you know you got that starting there at the point guard spot.
Yeah, and they had a nice performance out of Josiah Coleman too in that last one, and I think this team it had a hard time figuring out in late game situations who was going to be the guy and who was going to handle the ball. You know, I think the last group had that figured out with Aaron Anderson and Troy Huff. Those two were able to have the ball in their hands and do some certain things. I don't think this team ever figured out exactly who should take that vital shot, how it should be. I don't know how the hierarchy of late game situations should go.
Well, the interesting part is we talk about the two different teams here on campus. The men's hockey team plays all these close games, and in the end, they seem to find a way to win all these games. And the basketball team needs to get over to the other side because they're finding ways to lose all the games right now.
Tom, can you speak to the women's basketball team? They could end. Their season could end. Certainly in the Big Sky Conference tournament, they're lost 6 of their last 7, 4 in a row, something like that. Can they turn it around, I guess, is the biggest thing.
Well, I think it would be a scary team to play for anybody. They don't have the highest seed, but I don't think anybody's going to want to sign up to play UND at that conference tournament. They haven't been killing people on the rebounds like they had in the past, and that's how they were beating people. They haven't had quite the outside shooting or the secondary scoring maybe that we thought they'd have or made them successful last year, but still a very talented team with proven players who have taken big shots and played important minutes. So definitely a scary team for Northern Colorado, I believe, to have in the first round.
Looks like somebody has found a way to take Maya Lloyd and shut her down a little bit because she was going crazy early on, and nobody's picking up the slack. That's what it seems like to me, one of the things.
Yeah, I mean, she's been so dominant on the boards, and teams have been rebounding better with North Dakota in recent games, and one of the, maybe Maya doesn't have as many, but I think one of the big things you hear out of the women's program right now is the starts to their games, and they just haven't been able to get out of the gates that they want. And then the other area you hear a lot of is turnovers. They've been adding up, and they certainly just give good teams too many extra possessions in there. So you play good tournament basketball, and this team is certainly capable with the players that they return and that have had that tournament experience. They certainly have a shot, but right now that's been the couple of areas that I've noticed. It's been turnovers and out of the gate slow.
Women's hockey team season came to an end in the WCHA tournament this weekend, losing to Wisconsin, Brad, and I guess that's no surprise. The biggest surprise of the tournament, of course, was Bemidji State beating Minnesota. That
was a surprise, Bemidji making a run. Wisconsin, real tough defensive team, and with UND is not going to score a lot of goals, so that first goal is huge in that game, and Wisconsin got it, and they were able to play from there. Both those teams are really difficult to, actually, I'll say all 4 teams in the Final Face-off are very difficult to play from behind against because they're all so good defensively, and that's what Bemidji State scored the first goal of the game. It was pretty late when they scored, but they ended up holding off, and I think every team that scored first won this weekend. So UND, great run at the end of the season. They ended up being the last team to miss the NCAA tournament, and unfortunately for them, the CHA got it's their first year getting the auto bid. Otherwise, they'd be the last team in the tournament and probably headed down to Ritter this weekend.
Seems crazy. There's 5 Eastern teams in there?
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of discussion about that, and the pairwise for women's, which is it's a lot different for men's because of the lack of crossover games and how few non-conference. We talk about men's playing not very many non-conference. They play even fewer in women's hockey, and that there's been a lot of discussion. There've been some mathematicians there's a guy from Harvard who has tried to explain why he thinks they should go to a different system, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Up next, the men's hockey team is getting ready to start the NCHC playoffs this weekend, and before all of that, though, assistant coach Dane Jackson joins us in the Coach's Corner next.
We live in such a fast-paced world. It's always go, go, go. When I'm out for a run, it's my time. It's the best way to start your day. Crossing the line of that marathon, it's the biggest reward you can get. I want my customers to achieve their goals and go above and beyond. I I'm Nikki Ladegi, and I'm one of the running experts at Shields.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
Check, baby, check, check. How's that sound?
Other side?
Yeah, that'll leak.
Okay.
Check, 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 check.
Get your seats for the NCHC quarterfinals at the Ralph, March 13 through the 15th.
We play to win, but it's bigger than winning. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself, genuine dreams and a country big enough to fit them, values and hard work, giving your best and giving back. Working together, building a tradition bigger than any one of us, and showing the world every day who we are and how we play. We're Big Sky. We are the heart of the American West.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
The NCHC quarterfinals start this weekend. UND faces Colorado College before the action gets underway this weekend. Assistant coach Dane Jackson joins us in the coach's corner. Dane, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
And
fellas.
you're busy.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year. Yeah, it's a fun time of year, but it's busy. You're still trying to do a little bit of last bit of recruiting, but really trying to focus on our team.
You got 4 in the can on Colorado College, so you should know everything there is to know about them, although they are markedly different from the first time you met them back in October. Huh?
Yeah, I think fans at UND really saw what a well-coached, they checked real hard against us, and they've been doing that to a lot of teams. They've had a few bad nights along the way, but they've been in almost all the games. We've had about, I think, three games that are 1 or 2 goal games against them, and we're expecting a extremely disciplined, well-coached, tough to play against type of team.
In this league, in college hockey these days, you take a 16-goal scorer out of your lineup, that's a lot of goals.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And for a team that didn't bury people as it was with goals, it's a huge loss, obviously. What are you guys working on? I know you played it out last weekend in Miami, but what are you attempting to do as you move on here?
Yeah, the thing about Mark too is some guys score 16 goals, but they're kind of a liability defensively. Mark was one of our best penalty killers, just a good two-way center and won a lot of draws. So I think there's a lot of intangibles you lose when you lose Mark, not just the goal. So, it's kind of that, you hate to be cliched, but, in the end, everybody's got to, add a little bit more, try to raise their level somewhat. I think the way that we went on Friday will be the type of games we'll be in, close one-goal games, and we just got to be, extremely disciplined, have play great team defense, have good special teams, and try to just score by committee. Just continually getting pucks to the net. Continually making it hard on the other team to defend, things like that.
It's kind of Gorder time of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's been stepping up. He's been good. We actually thought our game on Saturday night was a pretty good game. We had some big errors on giving up shorthanded goals and things like that, but we really look at chances for and against, and probably chances for and against. We had a better game on Saturday, which is kind of strange, So, we're still playing hard, checking well. There was lots of good things. We had, like Hack says, we kind of missed some details. We weren't as focused a team probably, and that shows. That's when one of our strengths is being really kind of focused and dialed in every night, being hard to beat, just because we don't give teams many easy goals.
You work with the penalty kill, losing Mark McMillan, adjust those units. What are you guys doing without him, and What's Tucker Poolman's role? It seems like he kind of is going up and back and doing a little bit of everything for you.
Yeah, I thought Tucker was extremely good on the penalty kill. We had him playing, I think we'll see him more and more up front. He's just such a big body that covers so much ice, and he's got that big long stick. He's got great instincts. Tucker's one of those guys where you tell him something once and he can just put it into play. And that's pretty fun to coach a guy like that with that much athletic ability. So I think we'll have Tucker up front a lot, and just try to keep playing hard, kind of that balance of really trying to be aggressive, as a group together without running out of position. It's kind of a fine line, and just continue to. You have to be good on the special teams. They're so critical at this time of year.
I think you proved it Saturday night that this team is not one that's going to lay around and go, we won the trophy, and get lost in that. They're very focused on what they've got ahead of them, aren't they?
Yeah, I really think so. That was a big goal for sure to win. Last 2 years prior, we lost a chance of a piece of it on the last night, so to be able to bring that back home is pretty special. But yeah, that's been a real strength of this team, is the kind of maturity of the group to kind of be dialed in and focused for the next game. I thought we were a little bit off on Saturday, just in a small way. I thought our effort and intensity was great. I just thought our sharpness in that way was a little bit, and you're playing against great teams, that gets exposed. So we'll have to get back to it. I have no doubt the guys will be extremely focused, disciplined as we're getting ready for Friday.
Yeah, good luck this weekend against Colorado College. Moving on, hopefully.
Thanks, guys.
Dane Jackson joining us in the Coach's Corner. After the break, the regular seasons for the winter sports have come to a close. Playoffs are on the horizon, and we'll preview what's coming up this weekend. That's next. Get your seats for the NCHC quarterfinals at the Ralph, March 13 through the 15th.
Watch over 400 live events with the free Watch Big Sky app. Not able to travel with your team? Watch road games from home. Use the extensive archive to catch up on any action you may have missed. Watch Big Sky is available on your phone or tablet. Get it now on the Apple App Store or Google Play. WatchBigSky.com.
Dustin Hoffman and Bill Murray. And it's when he dresses up as a woman and he's going to get screen tested for that soap opera. Dustin Hoffman's dressed up as Tootsie.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
This weekend, the NCHC playoffs get underway with the quarterfinals of the best-of-3 series against Colorado College this Friday, Saturday, and if need be, on Sunday. So get your tickets at the Ralph Engelstad Arena box office or online at undsports.com. That's one of the things going on this weekend, and let's talk about that a bit. We touched on it earlier, but Colorado College comes into town, and they've got a goaltender that's starting to play well. I think that was part of the problem when they were here earlier. They had a lot of different problems, new coach and everything else, getting situated, I think, early in the season when we saw them. But goaltending was a problem throughout most of the season. The reason why they only have, I think, 2 wins in the NCHC.
Yeah.
If Marble's playing well, that could make them a formidable force. They came in here last year and forced a third game.
For sure, and that last year they were within, it was a 1-goal game that Sunday night, and I think CC pulled their goalie, and there were 12,000 people holding their breaths, and probably 5,000 people hoping they were going to get to see the team the next weekend who already had tickets for that Frozen Face-off. So, like you said, Marble, if he's playing well, that can be an X factor, especially against a team that's not super potent offensively without Mark McMillan. You have to question how, where the goals are going to come from. They scored 2 last week and in their win, so we'll see what happens, but that can definitely be an X factor.
Well, there's a couple of things in play here, and that is, as we do the show, we don't know the availability of Nick Schmaltz, for that matter. He went out of the game on Saturday night in Miami. We know Mark McMillan won't be there. Johnny Simonson seems to be a big key in this whole thing, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. Both Trevor Olson and Johnny Simonson had their shot to come in last weekend. It's really hard to be, overanalyze their performances because neither of them have played since Christmas. So I don't know if they can come in and you can expect them to be playing at a super high level when they haven't played in so long. Obviously they've been practicing, but it's a totally different situation in the game. Simonson was ill last week too, so that's another factor. Maybe he'll be stronger this weekend, but obviously I think they want him to be in the lineup because he can play that center position. McMillan is a center and he's out of the lineup, and if Nick Schmaltz can't go, there's another center down too, so that's something to watch as the week progresses.
You never know what can happen in these NCHC playoffs. We learned that last year. It looked like it was all set up perfectly. All the home teams that you would prefer to be in Minneapolis for a crowd anyway. They were all at home. All 3 of them got beaten, and as you mentioned, North Dakota goes to the final game in a 1-goal game against Colorado College. So
that's the nature of the league. I mean, you look around right now and look at the matchups, and it's really hard to say definitively any teams. This team's definitely moving on. Of course, I think North Dakota has the best chance. CC's really struggled on the road this year. I think they have 1 road win. They have a few ties in there and whatnot. So, but 1 road win all season long, and now they have to get 2 in 1 weekend to move on. That's going to be a tough task for them. So I think it is key for North Dakota that they're playing at home this weekend. But like you said, I mean, we saw last year, you just never know in this league right now.
All right, let's talk about the women's basketball team in the Big Sky Conference tournament. We touched on it before. Can they bounce back and reverse things? Really, they have to totally reverse them. They're on a skid. Northern Colorado's on a tear. What do you think, Paul?
Well, in tournament time, you just make a few shots, and all of a sudden you start feeling good about things. I think one thing, if you look at it, you were like, hey, if we go into the Wednesday game in Missoula in that neutral floor against Northern Colorado and get a few things going for us, all of a sudden I like the way the bracket shapes up.
Bracket.
Yeah, it's a good route through Dahlberg Arena. You wouldn't see the host team until the final game, and so I just want to see Emily Evers, Siri Burke, Megan Lauk, those seniors maybe rise to the occasion a little bit and kind of showcase what they have, because it is their final opportunities in their careers, and they've had good ones here at UND, and I think that's those type of players. One thing you also do get to see in that opening game against Northern Colorado, it's a team you've just seen. There isn't going to be any surprises there.
I think secondary scoring is going to be a key point with them. You kind of know what you're going to get out of Emily Evers and Maya Lloyd, and to a certain extent Dyer, but it's going to come down to what do they get out of like a Siri Burke or a Bailey Strand or Megan Lauk. I think they need one of those players to have kind of a double-digit night to really help them out.
All right, gentlemen, coming up, the winter sports are coming to their peak, and the spring sports are getting underway. With everything going on, the panel let us know what they're looking forward to most this weekend. That's next.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
Join us for the UND Champions Ball, benefiting UND's student-athlete scholarships. Mingle with coaches and students. Dance to Minneapolis band Power of 10. And bid on exclusive UND auction items. UND Champions Ball, Saturday, April 25th at the Alaris Center. Get your tickets now by visiting undalumni.org/championsball. Get your seats for the NCHC quarterfinals at the Ralph, March 13 through the 15th. Welcome back to Insider Weekly, and what are we looking forward to this weekend, gentlemen? Paul, let's start with you, since you have a green sweater on.
Well, men's hockey this weekend, opening round, quarterfinal round of NCHC is going to be truly exciting, and I hear that tickets are well ahead of where they were last year for the opening round series. It's going to be a tough ticket to get. It's going to be certainly fun. For women's basketball, we hope that they're playing on Friday afternoon in the semis, and we hope that maybe they're playing Saturday afternoon for the final. And of course, there's always an opportunity. They've had a good enough season, the UND women, that they might be involved in a postseason tournament that they could possibly look forward to as well, depending on how everybody views their body of work on the season. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how those two things play out. And of course, we'll continue to follow the softball and baseball teams as they continue onward here through heading into spring break. They got a lot of games on their schedule ahead of them.
Brad?
There's nothing better than playoff hockey, and it's finally here. I'm really looking forward to watching UND series against Colorado College, and not only that, I'm really curious to watch all the other series around the league. I think that's one of the real fun parts about the playoffs is everyone around the country follows what's going on in every other game, and a lot of intensity, a lot of team seasons are on the line. There should be a lot of really good games, and it'll start this weekend.
Are you going to make picks on those other ones?
I'll make picks on all of them. So,
all right, good.
Hopefully I don't do as poorly as I did last year. It was not good. Maybe I'll flip a coin for one of them and see if the coin can beat me again like it did last year.
Tom?
I'll just to be different, I'll say the spring sports, keeping tabs on the spring sports. It's getting to be about 50 degrees out, so mine starts turning towards spring sports.
And I'll be looking forward to the series at the Ralph this weekend as well, North Dakota and Colorado College. All right, guys. Catch an all-new episode of UND Insider Weekly next Wednesday at 8 on UNDsports.com and Friday at 5 on Midco Sports Network.